Hello everyone, Brian here, and today I figured I'd bring you guys a game of free-for-all because I realized the second time around playing Modern Warfare 2 I haven't brought you a straight game that didn't involve any types of boosters, so I figured I'd use this game as a backdrop for the next episode of What Would Brian Do? Our questions today, the first one comes from Mass Killings. He asks me, what are your views on internet regulation and giving money to foreign countries when we are in debt? Also, Georgie Wickham asked me the same question regarding foreign aid when your country's in debt, so I figured this would be definitely a good topic for me to cover since two of you asked me the same question. So let's start off with the internet regulation issue. In my opinion, there definitely needs to be no shortage of laws and governing bodies to help protect us from the darker side of the internet. I know that's easier said than done. I mean, the name itself, World Wide Web, just implies how difficult that can be. But we all know, like I said, a darker side does exist, whether that be, identity theft, privacy issues, child predators and child pornography, terrorists and whatnot posting how to make a bomb on the internet. So really there's no shortage of things that just shouldn't be there, that people shouldn't be able to accidentally stumble across and see or hear or find out about. Even like I said, the bomb making issue and how to make chemical weapons and basically all that kind of incredibly destructive type things should not be available for anyone to see. But like I said, we know that's a lot easier said than done. I know one of the most important things on the internet is freedom of speech, freedom of expression and whatnot, and that definitely should be protected without a doubt. That is one of the greatest things, not just about this country but many other countries around the world. I know as far as being able to protect your children from some of these, dangerous websites, there are tons of, filtering and blocking programs out there. But I mean, come on, let's be honest. I mean, most of the kids know more about computers than their parents do, and can easily circumnavigate their way around these things if they choose to. If there's something out there a kid wants to see, listen to, or in some cases do, they're going to find a way to do it. And that's really, in my opinion, where kids need to be protected for their own good. Because, I mean, there's certain websites out there, like the child predators and whatnot, they may not realize the danger they're putting themselves in by going to some of these, harmless-looking websites. And like I said, those are the kind of things that I think, need to be, governed, regulated and monitored. Just, for public safety, like I said, not just our kids, but also, adults with, phishing scams. Older people get taken advantage of all the time in, respects like that, because, I know plenty of older people who really don't know how to use computers, but they try. So, like I said, definitely internet regulation is a must. Like I said, without encroaching upon freedom of speech or freedom of expression when possible. Okay, moving on to the next question. How do I feel about foreign aid when our country is in such debt? I'm a little bit torn on the foreign aid issue. I mean, I understand it to an extent as far as why it's necessary. I mean, obviously, in terms of when there's a natural disaster, every country really should do its part to try to help the people and ease their suffering. Whether that be by sending money, food, medical supplies, building supplies, clothing. I mean, anything you can possibly imagine to help that country get back on its feet. Like I said, using the example most recently as the Japanese tsunami. Those are obviously, that's not about governments, that's about people. So definitely in those instances, I think foreign aid is a must in whatever form it needs to take. Now, on the flip side of that, using another example, I'm going to use the United States relationship with Pakistan. As I believe currently the United States is withholding, I think, a $90 billion aid package due to some of the, issues that arose after the United States incursion to go after and kill Osama bin Laden. Now, like I said, a country such as that, countries in the Middle East, some of them in Africa and whatnot, you're basically sending foreign aid to that government to basically try to help prop up that regime, in my opinion. And, oh, what the hell aim was that, by the way? Look at that, that's terrible. If that guy wasn't away from his controller, I would have been dead for sure. But like I said, you're basically just sending money to help prop up that government and keep their policies in line and in favor of your own. I mean, you're not really doing a whole lot, in my opinion, to change the hearts and minds of some of the hardcore anti-United States extremists that are out there. I mean, in my opinion, though, as well, a lot of the people in countries like Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, you name, the extremist labeled country. A lot of those people really do want more freedoms and, do want a different type of government, but they're afraid to stand up and be heard. I mean, thankfully that's changing a little bit now with a lot of the, revolutions and whatnot that are going on in the Middle East. Going back to the example of Pakistan for a moment, sometimes I wondered to myself how much return we're really getting on that investment. Like I said, we send billions of dollars over there per year, who knows, even more, basically just to keep that president in power and to keep him, in line with what we want as far as, being able to hunt down terrorists across their borders and do predator missile strikes, whatnot, regardless of your opinion on that matter. But the bottom line is you really can't trust the rest of the government or their intelligence service. I mean, they were, for all intents and purposes, harboring Osama bin Laden within their country, and the majority of their own military doesn't want to hunt down terrorists in the more tribal regions. Their intelligence service is protecting them and feeding us bad information or no information at all. So what are we really getting in return other than their president turning a blind eye when the rest of their government and intelligence services, which are supposed to be working with us, in most cases are working against us and harboring and aiding, terrorists so they can attack America and countries in Europe and other areas around the world. So, like I said, that's where I think it's a double-edged sword. I mean, a lot of that money could do so much more good here. With Social Security, Medicare, helping fight homelessness and hunger. And we send, like I said, hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars overseas. Like I said, and in my opinion, in many cases, get very, very little in return. Like I said, if it my decision, like I said, I know there's a lot of politics behind it. I understand that. So at times, I think it's really unavoidable. But I would try to do what I could to be more logical about it and try to curb it so that I could do more positive things in this country rather than sending so much money overseas when there's obviously so much debt and crisis and people suffering in this country alone. So that's pretty much all I have for you today. If you guys wouldn't mind, leave me a rating before you leave. I really do appreciate it. And as always, I hope you really enjoyed the video. I will talk to all of you soon, and I hope you have a good one.